Hi, we're going to take a look at percentages. We'll look at finding the percentage of amounts and increase and decrease. All this stuff is going to use a calculator. Let's make sure you have one to hand. So let's get started. So using a calculator, we want to work out 74% of 63. To do this, what we have to remember is that percent is basically a special way of writing out of 100. And if I do 74 out of 100, or 74 divided by 100, that will convert that to a decimal for me. So 74% is the exact same thing as 0.74. And always in maths, whenever you see the word of, that can basically be replaced by a time sign. So if I want to work out 74% of 63, all I need to do is 0.74 times 63. As a decimal, that gives me 46.62. If you had 40% of 71, you would do the exact same thing. You would divide 40 by 100, which gives you 0.4 or 0.40, and you would then times that by 71. Occasionally you get some slightly awkward ones. If you've got 6%, just be careful you don't write it as 0.6, because if I do the same trick, if I do 6 divided by 100, and percent always means divide by 100, that gives me 0.06, which you would then times by 92. So in this case, it would be 5.52. Also, a couple of weird edge cases. If you have a dot percentage, it doesn't change anything. You would do it the exact same way. So 32.5 divided by 100 as a decimal is just 0.325. So basically anything after the point just gets tagged onto the end, doesn't do anything special. And then times by 120 as always. So that's the most basic skill. We've got a couple of harder ones, and that is increase and decrease. So if we want to increase 92 by 16%, what I want 100% of my value. So 100% is this 92, and I want to add on 16% to it. So that means in total, I want 116%. The initial 100 and an extra 16%. Following the exact same tricks as before, I want to convert this into a decimal, and that will be 92 times 1.16. So if you ever want to increase it or work out something over 100%, it will always start with a 1 here. And again, typing that in, 92 times 1.16, that gives me 106.72. Just a similar example, here it's the exact same idea. I want to add on an extra 73%, so I start at 100%, an extra 73%, which means in total I want 173%, so I would do 78 times 1.73. Okay, and do a few of these. It's really easy just to add on the point, whatever's going on here. We can do the same thing with decreasing. It's a tiny bit more awkward, but not much. Here, I want to start with 74%, so I want to start with 100% of my value, which is 74, and I want to decrease it by 17%. I want to take off 17% from my original value. If I do that, I now have 100% minus 17%, so I'm going to be left with 83%. So if I find 83% of 74, that will be the same as taking away 17%. So all you need to work out is 74 times 0.83. And in this case, that gives me 61.14. Okay, just one more like that because it's slightly harder. Whenever it's a decrease, you're going to start with 100% and you're going to take off the amount you're decreasing by. Because we're losing that many percent from the full value, which is always 100%. So in this case, knocking off 42%, I am left with 58%. And then I'm going to do 216 times 0.58, which gives me 125.28. Okay, you've got some questions to try. Feel free to pause and give them a go. They do kind of get steadily harder. And to make sure you're okay with both these skills, working them out, and also increasing and decreasing. Okay, going for the answers now for the questions in black. They are as follows. Okay, so that was fairly clear for you. Just spend a few minutes now looking up at the kind of typical exam style question you'll probably end up seeing. So with this first question, we have a worded question. So Luna takes out a loan of £900 at 35% interest. So actually straight away we can work out how much money she's going to have to pay back. So if she's paying back the loan with interest, that means we have to add this on. So we're going to times it by 1.35. Working that out, we now know in total she has to pay back £1,215. That's her total to pay back. Okay, next we are told she pays it back in equal monthly payments over the course of the year. How much does she have to pay back each month? Okay, so we're pretty much done now. There are 12 months in a year, so we just take this 1,215 and divide it by 12. And that will be her monthly repayment. As a decimal is £101.25. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Just read it carefully, read it line by line, and you can basically work out stuff as soon as you can make things a bit easier. Next question, we have some marbles in a bag, some are green, some are blue, and the rest are yellow. Really common question, really easy to work out as long as you know what you're doing. I want to work out how many are green and blue, and from that I can work out that the rest must have been yellow. So how many are green is 55%, so I would do 0.55 times 120. That gives me 66 marbles. If you want to work out 2/5, you do the exact same thing. On calculators it is super easy. All you need to do is just do 2/5 times 120. And again, you can type that straight into your calculator. In this case, that gives me 48. So I now add it together. Green and blue marbles combined comes to a total of 114. There are 120 marbles in total. If the rest are yellow, that means if I take these two away, I am left with 6 yellow marbles. Okay, so these worded questions, just read it one step at a time and work out what you can, and hopefully it'll all fall into place. Have some questions to try. Give the video a pause and give them a read. I'll go through the answers to the questions in black in a second. Okay, answers to questions in black are as follows. Okay, hope that was okay, and as always, thanks for listening.